Hey crafty friends, it's Monique here with Grace and Tattered Lace. Let's make this cute snowman decoration. We started out with a plank from Dollar Tree and we're going to stain that. We're going to use the Home Decor chalk paint and the color of Java. We'll just put a small drop on the plank and then we'll wipe it with a baby wipe. You want to make sure that you get all four edges of your plank. You want to do the front and the edges. You can do the back too if you choose to. I did not. Then we're going to take some Vaseline and also some more chalk paint, Home Decor in the color of Milk Jug. Now I'm just using a popsicle stick. I'm spreading the Vaseline, just randomly throughout the piece. Remember that your paint is not going to stick in any of those areas that you put that Vaseline. That's going to give it that distressed look. All right, once you have the Vaseline on, you're going to take the paint in whatever color you choose. Again, this is Home Decor in the color of Milk Jug. And we're going to just take it and brush it down. I'm using a dry brush, and I'm brushing it on in even strokes from top to bottom or bottom to top, whichever way you prefer. Just don't do up and down and side to side at the same time. I prefer going the length of the piece instead of side to side. Now you want to make sure that it's completely dry for this next step. I used a blow dryer. You can use a blow dryer or a heat tool, or you can just let it sit for a while and let it air dry. Now you want to take a scraper and you're going to scrape all of that paint off, and it's going to come off in all the areas that you put that Vaseline. Now I'm not too worried about the look of this one. I wasn't going for a complete total distress look. I just wanted it to peek through behind our little snowman here. So now we have a piece of drop cloth that has been stained with coffee and baked in the oven to give it that beautiful brown yummy goodness throughout the piece. I cut it in the shape of a snowman. Now you want to cut before you bake because it's going to shrink in the oven, you guys. So stain and bake and then cut. All right, now we're going to glue this down on our plank. Just using regular Gorilla hot glue. I'm not using any special fabric hot glue or anything else in particular, just regular Gorilla hot glue. Now, you guys, when you're dealing with something like this and you're going to put stuffing inside of it, you want to make sure that it's loose and not tight on your board. If it's too tight, you're not going to be able to get your stuffing in, or you're going to pop it off the board and then you're going to have to re-glue it. Now, I've always said you want to work in pieces, especially when you're working with a piece that is kind of lengthy. Glue a little, stuff a little, glue a little. And that's what I did here in this piece. You can see I did it in several different steps. All right. There is our piece, all completely glued down and all stuffed. Now we need to make him a nose. I took that same drop cloth and I cut it. I just randomly cut it with some scissors. I didn't even trace it, you guys. Just took a small piece of fabric and cut it in the shape of that little carrot. And you can have it be a little wonky like. I tried to make it a little wonky. It wasn't too wonky. Okay, now we have some Waverly chalk paint in the color of pumpkin. Again, I'm going to use a dry brush and I'm just going to put a little bit of paint on the front and the back just because I don't know if it's going to show on the back side or not when you turn it over. I'm not going for complete coverage, you guys. I want some of this brown goodness to show through. So I'm just kind of randomly painting, leaving some of that brown showing through. Now we want to make sure it's dry. Otherwise, we're going to get it all over our fingers and get it all over our project. So we're going to give it a quick dry with the blow dryer. Once that's dry, we're going to use a glue gun and glue it shut. Now, a piece like this, you're going to have to work probably with some sort of a long tool or object to help you get the stuffing in. I used my scissors. And you want to start with small pieces of filling. Okay, don't try to shove anything big in there. So just use a small piece, then shove it down with some scissors, or you can use a dowel, like wooden dowel or something long enough to get inside there, but not wide enough to break it open. All right. And then once it's done, you're gonna glue it shut. Okay, you guys. Look at how cute this nose looks. Okay, now let's make him a scarf. I just took a piece of red and white striped fabric. Again, this is coffee stained and dyed, coffee stained and baked in the oven. And then I tore it to give it that, rough edges look. Makes it really look worn. Now I just put it flat across his neck, and then we're going to kind of bunch it up at the corners looking like it's kind of, wrapped around his neck. And then we'll kind of drape it down the sides, and then we'll glue it to keep it kind of, in place so that it doesn't move around. We'll do one side and then the other. And the good thing about this big fabric is it's all wrinkly, and it looks great for this little piece. It's perfect. It worked great. All right, you guys. Now he needs some arms. While I was out walking my dogs, I found these great sticks that I brought in. My husband was just laughing at me. But you'll see, they're perfect for his arms. Look how cute he's going to look, you guys. Let's glue that nose on. I kind of wanted it to just not be straight. It's kind of wonky, a little bit raised. Oh, I forgot we needed some eyes before we put those arms on. Now, you guys, when you do buttons, just make sure that you have the same size. Don't worry about the colors because you can always paint them. As you can see, there's one blue eye and one black eye there. All I did was take some black chalk paint. I think this was Waverly chalk paint in the color of ink. And I just did a quick dab of paint on his eyes to make them the same. Oh, look, there are our sticks. Aren't those the coolest sticks for his arms? I just love them. All right, so just make sure you find the place that you want them to be and then glue them down. And you're going to need quite a bit of glue for these, you guys. You want to make sure that they really stick. And you're going to have to get them up farther up at the top. And then you're going to just take your little scarf. You can cover that up, and that way you don't see any of that glue that it might be sticking out a little bit from behind that branch. Same thing on the other side. Glue it down. And once you know that it's stable, then you can glue the rest of the scarf down over the top and cover out any of that little glue that's kind of seeping through between the wood and the fabric. And then just kind of bunch it up, making it look like, it's wrinkled and, a cute little scarf. Then I'm going to add some Sherpa on there, the bottom, you guys. The Sherpa, you can get it at Joann's. It comes in a yard. It's around $14.99 a yard. I usually get it there when it's on sale, 40% off, and you get a really good, decent amount. Especially at this time of the year when you use a lot, it's a good deal. All right, it's been coffee grunged with the coffee grunge mix. That's the instant coffee, water, vanilla, and cinnamon. And then I just spread it on with a paintbrush and then let it dry. I cut it into some small pieces and placed it right there at the end of his scarf just to kind of finish that scarf off. Just gives it just a little bit more goodness to look at. All right, you guys, look at how cute he is. Isn't that the cutest thing ever? All right, well, let's get him some more goodness to look at. He needs a tag. Let's make a tag. Okay, so here's some paper that I've also coffee stained and baked in the oven. I did a video on that, you guys. So if you need to know how to do the coffee staining and baking, look for that video. If you can't find it, let me know. I'll send you a link. I'm using the crocodile tool here to make a hole and putting a grommet on there, kind of making it look really old and vintage, like an old tag would be from, you know, the old candy store, the general store. They had those tags like that. Look how good that looks. All right, let's get a piece of drop cloth to put a stamp on right there on that tag. So just get a piece of drop cloth. Make sure you tear it, you guys, and not cut it, because when you tear it, it gives you, look at those edges on that. Isn't that just gorgeous? When you cut it completely, it's just a straight line. So you can see I snip it, and then I'm going to tear it. Look at that. You see those edges on that? Look how good that looks. All right, make sure it fits. If you have to size it down just a little bit, then do that. Oh yes, look at this. We needed some bells. He needed something to finish off the front of him, so I just put a little bit of hot glue and some little rusty bells. You guys, I got these rusty bells off of Amazon. Just search rusty bells. You'll find it. They'll come up, rusty bells, rusty stars. There's all kinds. All right, let's put a stamp on this drop cloth. Look at how pretty that snowflake is. I think I got this one at Joann's. This one came from Joann's. I'm just using some black ink, and we're going to stamp it right there on the drop cloth. All right. Now, I had an idea. We needed to name this guy. And I thought, let's make another tag to go with our tag. I know that doesn't sound very proper, a tag on a tag, but let's look. It's going to be super cute, you guys. All right, there we go. I cut it down. That little strip is about 4 inches long, I believe. There's a grommet at the top. I put another grommet in there. Yes, you can put a grommet in fabric. You just have to cut a little hole to be able to get the grommet in. And look, I'm using some stamps there, and we're going to stamp the name Jack. I thought it was fitting. Jack Frost, we can call him. Now, we're going to put some twine in that grommet where we have Jack, and we'll attach it to the other tag. Let's get the other tag made. So here we have the tag, and I'm putting the drop cloth on there, you guys. Now, I didn't glue it all the way down. I'm going to get some, look at that. I'm getting some Excelsior right now. It looks like, I think I wanted to put some green behind that drop cloth as well. So let's see. We're going to put a little piece of green fabric behind the drop cloth. I think it was green with some white polka dots. We're going to put that right behind the drop cloth, right on the edge, just to give it a little bit of color behind it. Here you can just see I was fiddling with the fabric. I wasn't really sure what color, and I felt like it needed just another pop of color, so I went with the green. And I'm just putting a small piece on the side. I'm sorry I didn't do a very good job on showing that on the video, you guys. All right, now that that's down, we're going to put a little bit of Excelsior in there also. So I'm going to put that in the top corner behind the drop cloth and let that Excelsior peek out behind. It is so cute. Just wait. I'll show you here in a second. All right, I think it was just a bit hairy. I had to cut it, trim it down just a little bit. Yep, it was pretty hairy. Look at how cute that is, you guys, with the Excelsior behind there. Oh, it just adds so much to it. And there's our name, Jack, stamped on the drop cloth with that little grommet. Let's see. Just fiddling with it, figuring out where to place it. Play around with it, figure out where you like it the best. There's no right or wrong way. You can do it however you want. All right, I'm just going to put a little piece of twine in both of these grommets, and we'll glue the Jack onto the tag so that it doesn't move around and it stays exactly where you want it to be. All right, we'll put another piece of twine on the bigger one, and then we're going to attach it to his arm. And I'm just going to lightly string it around his arm and glue the two twine pieces together. I clearly forgot to take the price tag off of this. I definitely need to make sure I go and do that. All right, look at how I just kind of loosely attached that, you guys. Now we're going to glue it down to the board so that, again, it doesn't move around and it stays exactly where you want it to be, and you can see everything just right. Okay, he needed just a little bit more just to finish him off, you guys. I thought, let's add some greenery. I found this snow flocked piece and eucalyptus at... where did I find that at? I think that came from Hobby Lobby, you guys. Just cut a little piece. You don't want it to be too much. Just cut a little piece and glue it down. Now, it could be anything, you guys. It can be green. It doesn't have to be the snow-covered ones. Even some red stuff would look good. Some pip berries. Anything would look great, you guys. Play with it, find what you like, and then just make sure you glue it down. Once you get it glued down, then you're going to want to play with that scarf a little bit more and get it covered up so that those ends of the floral picks are covered up. All right, you guys, look at how cute he is. Isn't that the cutest ever? Now, you guys could even add some wire at the top and coil it and do whatever you want. I was really tired, and I just decided not to do it at the time, but I may go back and add that, just to add a cute little wire that you can hang from. Okay, you guys, he is so cute. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please share the love and tatto de lace.